This podcast has been created with you in mind to acquaint you with some of the most incredible metaphysicians and spiritual leaders from around the globe who have helped others change their lives. In this interactive hour, you will be offered insights and techniques to help you make a difference in your life. Don't forget to subscribe to the show in your favorite listening platform. And here we go, on to the show. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am so grateful that you're here, and I'm Dr. Marla-Goldberg, host of Guided Spirit Conversations. I know you might not recognize me after being off the air for so long, but I'm back, and I am so excited about today's show. So today I have the illustrious Dee Wallace with me. Dee, you know the name because you know the face. If you watch movies, you can't miss Dee because she was the mother on E.T. She is internationally known as an actress, as a healer, as a self-love expert. She is an author. She is best known for her role as the mother in Steven Spielberg's E.T. Dee has appeared on every major network and talk show, including Oprah and The Today Show. Ms. Wallace earned her teaching credentials from the University of Kansas, the principles she found empowering for children. Her work is based on the principles of accepting responsibility and loving ourselves early in life to create the life we desire. So true. Dee is a strong advocate for accepting our own magnificence and power in a powerful and loving way. A child's personality is set between the ages of 0 and 8 years of age, which has a direct impact on the creation of their life. Dee's important message to the world is love yourself beyond anyone or anything else. Love yourself so much that you can't do anything that doesn't make you love yourself more. That is the truest statement. Dee has authored 5 books on the subject of self-creation. There's Conscious Creation, The Big E, Bright Light, Getting Stuff, and Wake Up Now. Dee conducts a live call-in internet show each Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and offers monthly webinars on a variety of creation subjects. She conducts private sessions from her home in Woodland Hills, California, both on the phone and in person. And as much as she is a sought-after speaker, Dee has spoken at numerous national and international venues, including the Love and Harmony Forum in Japan, the Dylan Lecture Series, Unity Temple, the Kansas Film Commission, and asked to speak in China, New Zealand, Amsterdam, Australia, England, and across all of the United States and Canada. Dee, welcome, and whoa, what a CV you have.
I sound really busy, don't I?
You sound so busy, and we were talking off the air that you have like 11 new projects in the can, and that's in the actress way. And you've also got, and I know I'm jumping ahead, but you also have webinars that you're doing, and this one coming up you have on September 20th.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's all of the latest channeled information about literally how we can create and maintain the state of health in our bodies and our minds.
Which is so important.
I am committed to understanding and creating that so that there is literally a formula that people can follow. We defer our physical power to doctors and pills. Yes. We did a study. In 1 hour, you can get 50 different messages about the sickness that you probably have and the pill that you should take, which just might kill you anyway.
It's true.
We are like hypnotized to be sick. And if you're not conscious, your subconscious is taking in all of those, and I'm ashamed to say it from my other business, but all those wonderful visions of happy families and dogs running around while they're talking about the disease.
Right.
And the medication you need. So your subconscious then says, oh, I get it. Being sick is happy. And if we're not conscious of redirecting that and being really conscious of what's going on there, we just take it in and accept it.
Well, we absorb it like a sponge.
Absolutely, like a song playing in the background all the time.
Yeah, and then that subliminal message in the back of your mind rolling over and over and over again. And
which is kind of like our little children.
Yeah.
You know, I do, the beauty of my work is that it combines spirituality, religion, and brain science, all of which, by the way, are saying the same thing. Whatever you focus on, you create in your life. The good book says, think only on these things: love, joy, peace, right? So they're all saying the same things in different ways so different people can grasp them and understand them. But, you know, be as a little child to enter the kingdom of heaven doesn't mean hold on to all the incorrect teachings that people gave us through love, but and meaning well, but very limiting, most of them negative, and most of them very disempowering. So brain science knows that a child's brain, in their self-esteem, is pretty much complete by the time you're 8 years old. Yes. So whatever you were verbally taught those first 8 years, and in my work, it usually goes back to around age 3. So whatever you're taught verbally or whatever is modeled in front of you is what your little child says, okay, that's the way the world works.
You know, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm thinking about your other business and children who are actors and actresses who are, not all people do this, but we hear stories about Judy Garland as a child, or this one as a child, and how they were disempowered and they were told that they were this or that, like you're too fat, you're too short, and these children take this on inside. Would you disagree with that?
Disagree with that, but I would add to it, that's the way it happens with all of us. So Judy Garland did not have parents that protected her and taught her differently. Okay?
Yes.
I, on the other hand, had parents who pretty much empowered me, told me I could do everything, told me I was beautiful and talented just the way I was. So, and yet I had so many limiting beliefs. For example, I was raised in a fairly religious home, not zealots in any way, shape, or form, but I remember my grandmother, and I can hear the tone of her voice. They're the rich people. We're the good people, which was a very Midwestern and very religious way of excusing us for not being more successful than we were. And so when I started in ET and, you know, started making a lot of money and people were talking about me, and all of a sudden I was one of them. Yeah. And I went, oh my gosh, I'm one of them. And I pulled way, way back because my little girl was going, God's not going to love you. People aren't going to accept you because you're one of them now. You're not a good person anymore. And we play those things out. Another example that happened in my own life was my grandfather had been a very important CPA in Kansas City. But by the time I came along. He had had a couple of strokes. All I witnessed was my grandmother, who also took care of me during the day because my mom worked all the time. My grandmother taking care of him. My father became a severe alcoholic after the war. All I witnessed was my mom taking care of him. So my little girl said, oh, I get it. Men are supposed to be taken care of by women. And it took me a lot of relationships before I consciously realized that I was playing out that belief in my own life.
And that's powerful. And a lot of the images, the older movies, what do they say? Women take care of the men.
Well, that's the way, look, that's the way our world is. And now we're in a world where men get to decide whether we have the right to abortion or not.
Oh, I know.
It's the same thing.
It is.
It's exactly the same thing. And if you go back and study the history of segregation, the history of all the gun laws, the history of the right to bear arms, all of these rules were put in place by white men. And I'm not trying to be reverse racial here at all. These are just the facts.
Yes.
And when you understand how our society has made those rules and those belief systems, then you can stand back and go, okay, this isn't a part of me. This is a part of a belief system I've been taught.
Yes.
And as the good book says, as you believe, it is delivered to you.
And that goes into where your thoughts go, energy flows.
That's right.
Self-fulfilled prophecy.
Yep.
Yeah. It's so true.
You know, since I was a little girl, I've talked to energy. I've corresponded with energy. After my dad's suicide, he visited me in my room as a light that left my mirror. I know this sounds all kind of woo-woo and out there, which I'm really not at all. But that's what happened. I was very close to my grandma, and I woke up very like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and I went into my mom and I said, Mommy, something's wrong at grandma's house. So God love her, even though she had to be at work at 7 a.m., she got up and she called and nobody answered. So we drove over there, and the cat had gotten up on the stove and all the burners were turned on and gas was coming out. I don't know if grandma would have been okay in the morning, but I know I picked up the energy that something was wrong at grandma's, you know. And I want people to know you can all do this.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes.
All the information is right up here. Okay. From the beginning of time, all the information is here, but you have to ask to receive it.
And what's the second part of that? You have to be open to receiving what you're asking for.
Absolutely. And to know that you are powerful enough to do it.
And we all are that powerful. But a lot of us, because of those limiting beliefs that we've been imprinted with through our youth and even growing up, you know, look at, you're in an abusive relationship and they keep knocking you down and knocking you down and knocking you down. They get into your mind and they too imprint you with your limitedness.
Yes. And if I keep getting knocked down, who's allowing me to be knocked down? I am.
Yeah.
So, you know, I tell all my people, and I know it's old and antiquated, but as long as you're doing this, you will never get to the answer. This is where all the answers are. This is where the creation of money and health and relationships start in you. You have to be aligned within yourself to whatever you want. The way my channel puts it is, whatever you want, love it more.
I like that. I love
Yeah,
that.
so simple.
It is. It's so simple and it's so true. I want to go into the 0 to 8 year old
Yeah.
period of time with children because it's really important. You know, before I even got into metaphysics, I was engaged at a very young age, and I said to my fiance at the time, it's like, if I have children, I want to be available to them till they're 7 years old, because I figured that was I was being guided, and I didn't even know I was being guided, that was the time that's important for the development of the child. You bring in 8, but let's talk about it from your perspective and your knowledge on what children, how they develop, and how it's important to really remember that they're reflecting what you're telling them back to you.
And what they're watching.
Yes.
And what they're watching. So, you know, when we're children, mommy and daddy, and grandma in my case, are our first gods.
Yes.
They're supposed to know, they're supposed to be right, and we're supposed to obey them. Unfortunately, their parents didn't teach them because their parents didn't teach them because their parents didn't teach. You know, it's sins of the fathers passed down through very antiquated belief systems.
Yes.
Like, you know, the lady of the house, the woman of the house isn't supposed to really participate. Our job used to always be stay at home, raise the kids, clean the house, cook the dinner. Stay at home, raise the kids, clean the house, cook the dinner. Right?
Yeah.
And
it's true.
Maybe some progressive couples, the husband would ask for her opinion once in a while. I mean, this was from the time immemorial when poor Eve, you know,
pulled that apple down.
That apple, right, guys? So nobody's going to change that until along come some women in the 30s and 40s that go, well, wait a minute. We've bought into this BS for so long, you know. We want to vote. We want to have a voice.
Right.
So that started opening up the rest of our, well, it introduced to us, wow, maybe we could pick a different way, right? Of thinking, a different way of believing and creating who we are in this world. And then Gloria Steinem and all of those people who helped make it okay for a woman to walk forward and make it okay for a man to embrace that also. You know, I think when we talk about the women's movement, we don't give nearly enough credence to those men who supported it. They had to adapt much more even than the woman did. But so all of those belief systems that we were taught, like the 2 examples I used from my family, continue to be passed down. Women, you know, little boys, they're expected to roughhouse and be loud and, you know, but little girls are supposed to still wear dresses and be sweet and nice.
And play with dolls and play house. And
exactly.
Really, did you
Start
hear
grooming them for how we think they should play out their role in the world?
Absolutely. What's so funny is my sister was always the school teacher or the babysitter, and I was always one going out and doing things like starting a day camp. You know, when I was younger, we're only 18 months apart, so it's very interesting to see how 2 people birthed so close together.
Yep.
So polar opposite, and today we're still polar opposite. It's not bad or good. It's just what it is.
Well, it's who you came in as, and you're both learning different soul lessons. You know, that you need. Next time, she'll probably come back as the dynamic one, you know, and it's interesting. Like I said, my father was a severe alcoholic. And then my younger brother was also severe alcoholic. My older brother drank, but could manage it. But my younger brother used to say to me, yeah, it runs in the family, Dee Dee. And I said, well, I'm part of the family. It doesn't run in me.
Right.
I mean, I like my glass of wine at night, but I'm very present at what my family history is so that I make different choices. And that's what I think people don't get about the power of creation, Marla, is everything is energy. We all learned that in 5th grade. Everything is energy. Our thoughts are energy. Our feelings are energy. And energy is neutral. There's no good energy. There's no evil energy. Energy's neutral. Energy must be directed to take physical manifestation.
Yes.
And we direct energy consciously or unconsciously with our thoughts, our feelings, and our beliefs, all of which must be chosen. And that's what trips everybody up. I mean, I hear on my show all the time, yeah, but I can't help it. That thought just can't. Well, you can help it. And we have to train ourselves to stop in that moment and go, well, that thought isn't going to give me what I want.
Right.
What thought can I choose now that's going to give me what I want? Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would wish more people would believe in that, because there's so many people who feel they don't have a choice, that it's they're doctorated with it, and there's no choice, and this is my life, and this is the way it is. It's like, but there is. And we as adults make over 33,000 choices a day. And that's with the average individual. When somebody's a CEO or the president of the United States or a country, whatever, there's even more choices to that. And I joke and say, and if you go to the Cheesecake Factory, there are even more choices than that, because you've got a novel to go through to see what your choices are.
Isn't that the truth? I love that analogy. I'm going to steal that, Marla. That's great.
You're free to use it.
But you are always at choice. As a matter of fact, you are the choice. If people can just get that everything starts within us, and the more you're in alignment and harmony with the things you want, the more you magnetize them to you. They will literally come to you. Do you know, I didn't even have to audition for ET.
That's great. That's amazing.
I just spent that whole summer. I made a list. My channel is really big on making lists. And I wrote down everything that I wanted in a major feature film. And one day I got a call from my agents, Dee, you won't believe this, Steven Spielberg wants you to star in his next movie. See, I didn't do anything except I did everything that's important.
Yes.
So what we're taught to do is, oh, I'm going to send out pictures. I'm going to do a lot of auditions. I'm going to make a lot of calls. I'm going to do. But if you're doing from that place of, I've got to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to go out and I'm going to work really, you're actually pushing it away from you.
Well, because when there's that much energy of, it's grasping. So my other analogy, when you get like that, I call it's like grasping water. When you grasp running water, what do you get in your hand? Well, you don't get an accumulation of water. You just get one wet hand.
Yep. Again, great analogy.
Thank you. But that's what you end up doing when you're grasping so hard for something.
So what's up in my work that's catapulting everything forward right now is, you know, I do a lot of private sessions. I do about 4 a day. And what I realize, Marla, is that people really don't know what they want. They think they know what they want. But when I say, okay, what do you want? Oh, well, you see, if you know what you want, you have the answer.
Right.
And most people, again, back to our childhood brain, we're taught don't ask for what you want. Not nice to ask for what you want. You can't get everything you want anyway. I mean, there's a myriad of beliefs around receiving and manifesting itself. And you have to know what you want in order to tell the universe. So if we ask a kid, what do you want for Christmas? I don't know. Maybe I want a swing set. Maybe I want a truck. You see, we don't know what to buy him, do we? Well, the universe works the same way. If you don't know what you want and know that you're worthy to receive it, the universe just waits. Well, I'll just wait and see if they figure it out pretty soon, you know?
I do know, because when I talk to people and I do my promotions, I always end it in my show with ask your beings, because they're your biggest cheerleaders on the other side for what you need, want, and desire. Give them as much detail as you can give them, because if you give them enough detail, then they can start working for you. And then, of course, I say, but you have to be open to how it's going to come, because it's not going to be someone knocking on your door saying, here's the answer, here's what you want. Sometimes it's very esoteric, and you have to be open, because spirit has a great sense of humor.
Indeed, it does.
They have great senses of humor. The other thing I say is, if it hasn't come right away, you have to look at yourself and see what you still need to work on, because if you're not ready to receive it, you're not going to get it.
Or create it.
Or create it.
Again, you've got to be in harmony with the thing that you want. You have to be in alignment. So, like, if you write out all the attributes that you want in a mate, everything, financial security and good health, and he or she respects themselves and honors himself and respects and honors you, and you make a list of all those, and then stand back and go, okay, am I that? Am I that? Am I that? You will see where you are not being the very thing that you want to attract. Because what are we taught? They will complete who I am.
Right. Now I will complete.
When I have that soulmate, then I'll be happy.
Right.
And it works the opposite way. You must be happy, and then they come. Be happy with you. Choose to be happy and know exactly what you want, and you will magnetize it to you. And I do it every day.
It's amazing. And the big part of it, I think, is the fact that people need to understand that you need to also, there's something you just said, and now it just went in and out of my brain, and I apologize for that. But to create and magnetize, you also need to know what you don't want to offset, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, but Marla, if you
a
know
lot of
what
people
you don't
know, a lot of people
know what
don't
you
know.
don't want, it's pretty easy then to say what you do want.
It's true. I agree with that.
The challenge is that most people stop at what they don't want. I can have somebody come up on stage when I'm out speaking, and I go, what do you want? Well, I don't want to have to worry about money. Great. What do you want? Well, I don't want to feel like I don't have enough money. Great. What do you want? You see, they can't say what they want because they stay focused on the story of what they don't have.
Let's talk about the stories that people walk around with, and how until we change our stories and stop talking about the negative or perceived negative stories, things aren't going to change either. Do you want to delve into that?
So, yes. So around the universe is an energetic sphere called the ionosphere, what happens every time? Well, let me back up for a minute. They measure our hearts with electrocardiograms. They measure our brains with electroencephalograms. Every thought and feeling that we have has an electrical impulse, which shoots out into the universe, bounces off the ionosphere. The universe goes, wait, I've got to find a match. Boom, there's a match, positive or negative. The universe is not going to save you or condemn you. It matches your thought and feeling and belief and sends it back to you. The only way that you will change the patterns in your life are to change the electrical signals that you send out. That then the opposite positive can be matched and sent back to you, and you start creating in a different way. That's why it's so important to choose what you want to think and feel and believe, and then match it with love. So love, according to my channel, is the most powerful tool we have to create with.
Yes.
And none of us use it that way.
Yeah.
None of us use it that way. So I teach everybody to have a love place. So let's just, anybody who's listening, we're going to find your love place now. So your love place is anything that opens your heart and puts a smile on your face the minute you think about it. So everybody find their love place. I use my doggy, my beautiful Hawaii. Places in nature are always good. Your pets are always good. So everybody find your love place. See, that's what money feels like.
Yeah, it's true.
That's what your soulmate feels like, of which there are many, by the way, many soulmates out there. That's what a healthy, well body feels like.
Yes.
When we get sick, we automatically and immediately get involved in, I have to fix this. There's something wrong and I have to fix this. So that becomes a definition. I am the God of me where something's wrong. I am the God of me who's sick. I am the God of me who needs to fix this malady within me. All right, so our brain thinks in pictures. And now we are focused on what's wrong with us.
Right.
Not going to create the state of well-being that you want. What you want is health, not a constant focus on fixing what's wrong. And I'm not telling people don't go back to the doctor that you're seeing. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you, when you do the work yourself of being more in harmony, and alignment with the health and wellness and the love of that, the faster you heal.
Well, I told you my story before we came on, and what I did is, instead of getting angry or going into the whole negative space, first of all, I call on Archangel Raphael, Ariel, Azrael, and all the angels of healing to bring me the light that I need. But I kept saying, okay, because I look at everything as a lesson, opportunity, gift, or a combination of. It doesn't make a difference if it's positive or, I say, perceived negative, because I think negative is a perception. It's not, what you think is horrible. I may say that's not a bad thing, and vice versa. But it's like, okay, what's my lesson, opportunity, or gift for this accident? Why am I going through this? And then I just get quiet and allow and surrender. Surrender the helplessness I feel to saying, okay, Spirit, what is it? I'm open to receiving. Let me know.
So what did Spirit say to you, Marla? Why did you break your hip?
Oh God. Well, one of the things is, well, it's one way to get you to slow down.
Yeah,
That was a huge one for me.
that's the first thing I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, get me to slow down. And the irony is in May I broke my elbow, and I thought, okay, they're telling me to slow down. And so I just got released from the doctor to go back to my normal activities. 5 days later, this happens, right? So I'm like going,
Yeah.
okay, what's the lesson opportunity gift? Slowing down is one of them. Okay, I'm going to slow down. And I honestly honored what they were guiding me to and really released all my responsibilities pretty much. You know, Bridget and I worked on, but on a much more slower pace or lesser pace. And I just am like, okay, I'm just following my guidance now. And I was able to do more meditating and
Yeah,
really
you know
getting
what
into.
the channel's like yapping in my head. Be still and know that I am God. Now, say that to ourselves.
It feels so good, doesn't it?
Be still and know that I am God. And that's what the I am principle is based on. And that's interesting. What I'm hearing is you needed to slow down to really acknowledge that you are the God of you,
And I had to break open,
whatever that's
be able to
worth.
receive. Well, because God's not outside of us, God is in us.
That's right.
That's why when I read Genesis, it really amazed me because it sort of changed my whole outlook on organized religion. Because if we're made in the likeness of God, it would suffice to say God is in each and every one of us. So we don't need to go outside of ourselves to ask another human to forgive us for something we might have done or said or thought. We can forgive ourselves and make a promise to ourselves to do better. And then,
We're the ones that must forgive ourselves. Let me tell you, if you're not forgiving someone, they own you.
mhm,
They own your energy. They own your thoughts. They pull you toward that experience of anger, and that takes you down physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, chemically, and cosmically. That will take you down. You don't forgive for their sake.
no,
You
never.
forgive for yourself.
It's the gift you give yourself
You
over and
bet.
over and over again.
Yeah.
So that's how I place it because, yes, you have to. You have to be able to forgive. Now, just because you forgive somebody, and I'm going to say this because people are probably going, what? I don't want to let them off the hook. You're not letting them off the hook. You're giving yourself a gift to free yourself from whatever's going on. But number two, just because you forgive them doesn't mean you have to invite them to your dinner table. You
Indeed.
know?
Yeah.
You could forgive somebody and never want to see them again, or just saying, yep, I get you. I understand where this is coming from, but I don't need to go through it again because a lot of times if it's happened once, they're going to bring it a similar
Well,
something.
and that's not a match to self-love, is it?
No,
If I
it's
love
not.
myself, I am not going to surround myself with people who make me angry,
Or make me
um,
feel bad.
make me feel bad, put me down, judge me. No, I'm going to love myself enough to love them and to let them go.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I just want to speak to what my channel says about the fact that we pick the families we're born into.
Yes.
And usually, not all the time, but usually we pick them to learn what we do not want.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think your mom and dad screwed you up, you're probably right. And thank them for teaching you what you don't want. Now it's your job and responsibility to start creating what you do want. Because if you look, this is my story. Okay, we were really poor when I was growing up, and you know, my mom had to work all the time and my dad was an alcoholic. And every night I had to pull my dad off my mom and make sure my little brother was okay. And then he shot himself in his head when I was a senior in high school, you know, and that's why I can't be successful today.
Right. People put that in their head.
If I keep telling that story, I keep living that story. Those are factually what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
What I do with it is my freedom.
And it is freedom. A lot of people are shackled to their stories.
Don't I look free?
You do look free. And you look so vibrant.
Yeah, I'm looking pretty good for 75, aren't I?
You're looking really good for that. But being free it liberates you. People, and I know people in my family are so shackled to their story and their anger and their resentments and their bitterness, and they, you know, they're in a different place than I am. And it's not that I'm better or worse. I just have a different outlook and always did. But my path
chose to.
Yes.
Marla, you chose to.
Yeah. I kept falling on my face, believe it or not, under all this makeup. You could find the scars from me planting over and over and over again. But here I am to say you can change your life. If I could do mine, I'd like to think that I'm really super special, and I am to some degree, but I'm no special than you are. You're very special, Dee. Bridget, very special. Everybody is special.
Everybody.
But
if we believe we are.
Yes.
Let me tell you, I'd never been out of Kansas in my life. And I said, I'm not going to teach at high school another year. I'm going to go be an actress in New York. Every single person except my mom said, are you kidding? No, you don't know anybody. Nobody knows you. You think you're going to go to New York City and just get started.
Right.
Do you know, from the time I left Kansas till the time I did ET was under 7 years.
That's pretty amazing. Were you doing Broadway?
I never got the opportunity to do Broadway. I did a lot of industrial shows and 400 commercials.
Well, I have to tell you, I saw pictures of you when you were young. You're stunning now, but you were truly, you know, I could just see where you would just be, you know, attracting, you know, all of this. Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't my looks, let me tell you. I never sold that. That's not what I sold. Everybody looked at me and she said, "Oh, isn't she so sweet?"
But people do. They look at. I wanted to model when I was young, and I just didn't like being in front of people.
I can see that.
So I did not like being in front of people. I liked being behind the scenes better. And so my whole trajectory in that regard changed, because it's like, oh, I don't like being looked at like this, because I kept feeling judged and criticized. And, you know, when you model, you just bring your comps around, what happens? You know, oh, she's too short, she's too tall, she's too fat, she needs to lose 20 pounds, but I'm only 102 pounds. Oh, no, you need to be really thin. Like, you know, things like that. And it got to me because it got to my self-esteem.
You know, a very big manager that I met when I got to LA said, yeah, I'll take you on, but you need to lose your Kansas accent and you need to have your breasts enlarged. And I said, you know, not who I am, not what I sell. But you see, I knew who I was. And who I was exactly who Steven Spielberg wanted for E.T. Yeah. Who I was exactly the vulnerability that was right for the mother in Cujo. You know?
Yes.
When I went in to interview with people, what they saw is what they got. I've just always been as genuine as I am, which maybe is why the channel said, when I asked Marla, after the channel got a hold of me, and I said, why me? I'm like Deanna Bowers from Kansas. And they said, exactly, because you'll be able to say it in a way that people get it.
Well, you're relatable.
And
You are totally relatable in the movies I've seen
thank
you in
you.
and things. And, you know, that's what they want, right? You don't have to be a supermodel, you know, to play parts.
Exactly. You just have to be powerfully and authentically who you are. And let me tell you, that's pretty much goes with anything and everything a man or a woman is going to choose in this life. How authentically powerful are you?
I love that. I think that's a t-shirt.
Yeah, authentically powerful. Oh, I'm going to have some of those made up. I am.
I think I might
That's
have to
great.
do my own version of that, but yes, authentically powerful. It's wonderful. I've got to do a little stop here because it's charity shout out time. So charity
Okay.
shout out time is my version of sharing our guests' charity, the charity
Oh,
or charities
beautiful.
that they support. And you gave two. One of them is Save the Children. The other is
Yeah.
actorsandothers.com, which are for animals.
Yes.
So let's talk
Actors and
about,
others for animals. Yeah.
which I love. I'm an advocate for animals, and of course, children. How can you not be?
Well, you know, save the children, save the world.
Well, and
Whatever we teach our children now will be the power or the lack of that the world is created with in the future.
it's amazing how important that is, and of course, animals. Yeah, you know, you look at
Oh,
the fire in Maui and the displaced animals there. You had the other fires that
heartbreaking.
were going in Canada, and the ones that couldn't get out. And yes, they chose these, you know, on a soul level, but it's still heartbreaking to think that any being would go through that type of
Yes.
experience. And they,
Person or furry person.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Very difficult to fathom. And ironically, my husband and I were talking about going to Maui, and we chose a different destination. But when we saw that, because it's one of our happy places,
Me too.
heartbreak.
That's one of my love places. And
Yes.
we checked out. You're getting mixed messages. Yes, come. No, don't. You know, so I think we'll probably end up going to Kauai this year instead until things get rebalanced.
Yes.
You know, the people and places that I have frequented in Maui for years and years, we've donated to. So I feel like, not that we're finished, but that we have been responsible in helping them move back into their power, you know, and choice financially. But man, that was, see, in that moment, everyone there had a choice.
Yes.
Am I a victim? Or am I an empowered person who knows how to handle this, what the lesson is, and how can I recreate what I want now?
Well, it certainly
You
does
can't
clear
do
off the
that while
board,
you're
right?
at what?
I said it certainly clears off your canvas so you can make another picture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
without question.
I think in my life, I would like to take that completed canvas and hang it up on the wall and go, okay, here's a new one I can paint on now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, so what I don't want is to choose a belief that I have to struggle
Right.
to create something new. What I do want then is to know that in every moment of now, I am the creation of something new and exciting and free.
I love that. And I would love for other people to take that on. And I know people lose their memories and their furniture and starting over. But what I think people sometimes lose in the emotion of losing things is to realize, like, we can create new memories. We can collect new things. We can get new furniture. When they could have been complaining about needing fresh furniture because was all worn down. And now this is a chance. Not that you want to lose everything that way, but it's an opportunity. And that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, you can choose to be a victim. That's when my husband died and all my channeling started up again. I said, I don't want to be a victim. I want a way we can heal ourselves. And like that, the first message that came in was use the light within you to heal yourself. To heal yourself.
It's powerful. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
The first teacher I met, she was talking about how to heal yourself. And I was like at this low ebb in my life. And I went to listen to her and it's like, oh. And you know how you ask questions at the beginning, my hand just stayed up. But I ended up going to her mystery school for 3 years and getting on my path that I had no clue I was getting on to begin with. I just needed help. I was just in that place. And she was talking about, you can heal yourself. And I was like, a little voice was going, it couldn't hurt. Nothing else is working. Couldn't hurt. And that's what I'm talking about, sense of humor, right? I mean, it kept pushing and pushing, saying, couldn't hurt. So it's like, okay, here I am. And following the guidance. And when you trust and surrender first, then trust, you will they'll never take you on the wrong road. Spirit will never take you on the wrong road.
Because you're it.
Yes, it is.
And I just want to speak a moment to, we are all taught to make decisions from here.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind is created to doubt and question, not to know. This is where you know.
Yes.
So if you want the highest answer, go to your heart. Feel into your heart and go, okay, my highest guidance is, and then tell your brain, okay, this is what we're creating now.
Yes.
Which tells the universe, come on in and partner with me.
And also when you go into your heart, you makes your ego relax a little bit because it's your ego trying to control you. That's, in my opinion, a lot of what mind is. It's your ego.
And fear.
Yes.
Ego and fear.
Ego
for sure.
Creates fear. Why? Because if it creates fear, then it can control you.
Yep.
But when you
Indeed.
allow, you go down, as you say, into the heart area, and you just feel what's going on there, the ego doesn't have the need to create fear anymore. It can relax you.
Yeah, and back to brain science, it's impossible for you to hold focus on two things at once. So when you choose to go to your love place and feel into that, it is scientifically impossible to live in fear and anger. It's so easy. It's so easy. And we have to choose to do it.
You do.
In that moment when we're like, we have to stop and go, no, this ain't going to get me what I want. This isn't going to give me freedom and peace and a healthy body and a healthy life. Let me go to love. Well, I don't want to, but I'm going to choose to go to love. And it takes so little to turn it around, guys.
It does. And when you have love, you treat it more with kindness. You treat your
Yeah.
situations kinder. You treat
And
yourself
yourself.
kinder.
And
Exactly.
yourself. Yeah. Just remember, when you're in reaction, you are out of creation. When you are in reaction to anything, you are not choosing what you want to create.
It's so true. It's so true. And what a great way to end the show, Dee. Those words were so powerful.
Thank
And
you.
I really do pray, and I know that the people listening are listening because they're getting something from this. What you're saying is resonating with them, whether they expected it or not. This is like a box of Cracker Jacks. What a great surprise of information that you've been able
Yeah.
to share today.
Well, thank you. That's always my intention, is to take love out into the world and express the highest truth so that everybody can live in love and empowerment.
Self-empowerment, yes.
You bet.
Because it's so needed. So thank you so much for taking the time to be on the
Oh,
show. I hope we
thank
can get
you.
you back another time because you have so much great, powerful information to share. And I know in my heart of hearts that what you're saying will resonate out like that ripple effect that we always talk about.
I'm claiming it, baby.
Good. I'm so glad you are. It's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Marla. Thanks for having me.
I feel so blessed by having you because you talk my talk. So I'm so grateful for that.
Thank you.
Bridget, thank you so much for all you do. My God, you wouldn't be able to see me today if it wasn't for Bridget. So talk about Mercury retrograde, technical issues. Oh my God. But we pulled it off, and I'm so grateful for you every day. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I want to thank you, the listening audience, for taking time out of your day and out of your life to be a part of this show. You know, you hear me say over and over again, the show was created with you in mind to bring you amazing metaphysicians like Dee, to bring you their stories, to bring you their information, to help guide you. Hopefully, Dee has resonated with so many of you that she is going to be so busy with her radio show on Sundays. And it's called Conscious Create, correct?
Conscious creation. Yeah.
Conscious
If you
Creation.
go on my website, on the homepage, it'll tell you how to get there. And on the homepage is also the new healing webinar on the 20th.
So please sign up for that because you can learn so much, really getting into your heart and helping you in your life's trajectory. You don't have to live the life you're living now if it doesn't serve you. Choose the life you want to serve you, is what we're getting at. So thank you for taking the time. Next week, my guest is Pauline Raffaella, energy healer, Akashic record reader, doctor of metaphysics like me, and master healer. So please turn in for that. You were going to say something, Dee.
No, just that I love you and thank you for creating this platform for everybody.
Thank you
It's a
so
great
much.
service. Thank you.
I appreciate that. So as I leave you, I'm sending you love, blessings, and gratitude. Know how grateful I am to have you in my life in whatever capacity you're in it. For not only are you my student, you are my teacher. Not only am I a teacher, I am your student. And I'm going to leave you with these 3 words. I love you. You are loved, not just by me, not just by family and friends or community or people you work with, but you have a plethora of beings on the other side of the veil who are your biggest cheerleaders, and they want to work in service for you. So here's the secret. You need to ask for what you need, want, and desire, as much detail as you could possibly give them. Don't say, I don't know, because if you don't know, they don't know. So you need to give them the details and then allow them to conspire on your behalf. And remember 2 things. A, it's not going to be a knock on the door, something linear. You have to be open to the different ways that spirit can bring you the guidance you need. And B, if you're not getting it in the time frame you feel you need or want it in, then you need to look at what's going on. And then when you start adjusting what's going on with you, they can then bring to you those things that you've been asking for. Okay. Have the most incredible week. I will see you next week. And just live in that love bubble that Dee was talking about. Take care. Bye for now.